everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will be sharing everything that I watched in January 2024, from TV shows to movies, documentaries to web series. I've got a lot to cover. So I've been seeing these videos pop up since like 2019. So I thought, hey, you have a list of everything you watch with extreme detail, and maybe just stop explaining it to other people. How about just do it on a video? Just bear in mind that I'm not objective in any way in this. It's more of how I felt and when I watched it, and not a review at all. Bluey, available on iView, ABC in Australia, and Disney Plus most everywhere else. I continued watching from late December to early January the last episode of season 2 and the whole of season 3 that I could find until the last episode came out on the 12th. I really just absorbed the whole of the series to feel a semblance of joy and to cry out all of my sadness away. It really is a great show to watch and enjoy, and it goes by so quickly, and I'm just really excited for whatever comes next.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Percy Jackson and the Olympians TV series, available only on Disney Plus. Watching every episode as it came out as a longtime fan, I feel satisfied for what they gave us. I may have a little bias right now because they gave us a pretty good last episode wrap-up, like Rick Riordan always does. But there are some episodes that I felt could have gone a little faster, or even just a lighting in a couple episodes. But I just really appreciated the experience of watching and feeling excited for the next episode.
You're gonna need to be brave now.
Running Wild with Bear Grylls, The Challenge, available on Disney Plus. Started watching for the first time on the 3rd and the 4th, and I really liked the structure of the episodes, and all of the guests had really interesting stories and points of view. And Bear just looks like a sweetheart, and it's really open to talking about everything, but it really points out that, okay, you're here to promote something, or just you're watching Disney Plus, and everyone here is connected to it. I am a sucker for survivalist reality TV either way, and it really just looks so beautiful.
Get ready to jump. Start! This is Running Wild, The Challenge.
Godzilla Minus One. Not available yet on streaming or VOD, and probably not in the foreseeable future. I think this production company or distribution one is known to take their time to make films available online. So I watched this one in cinemas with my brother, and he really wanted to watch it, and I went on with it. I was so surprised how much I really love this film and how invested I was the whole time. And I am a bit of a hater for the accent Japan uses for movies or animes and so on, but this movie doesn't do the cartoony accent and gives it all the drama and the great acting that this story deserves. I really can't believe that a Godzilla movie is one of my favorite movies in a while, but this is just so great.
Godzilla Minus One.
The Family, available on Netflix. I had only the last episode to watch from this miniseries, and for the story, I see it more like a way to look at the white evangelical right-wing side of the world that tries to rule it and impose themselves in everything. Them just calling themselves the Fellowship or the Family gives it a bit of a Tolkien vibe, and the way they go about twisting their own beliefs to their own delusion is insane. I got a little mixed up watching the whole series, feeling like it was bogus, but still plausible, and that's how I ended up.
Because we want our family to stay together.
Escaping Twin Loves, available on Netflix. I was so frustrated the whole time watching this man decide that he's so alpha and so over everyone that he decides your fate, and also he's Jesus, and all the last people that follow them for so long, and just falling for this stupid trap. I get it, I want to put all my responsibility of my life onto other people's hands, but just take a break, think it over, and then say no. God, those freaking people make me so mad, and they're just horrible.
Man, the tea is now being spilled.
Hellcamp Teen Nightmare, available on Netflix. Most of what I remember of this documentary is how awfully they treated these kids. The horrible things they had to do when were done to them, and it just escalated from the beginning, and someone dies in the first or second iteration, and just to feel so betrayed and abandoned by your own parents and sent to the wolves is insane and just disgusting.
I counter charge using with negligent homicide. Tying kids to trees. IRS action against a literally dragon. Knowing my parents did it to me.
La Sociedad de La Nieve. Available on Netflix. So, I'm gonna do it in español. Entonces, pues, no manches. O sea, esta película es una de las mejores que he visto en mi vida. El impacto que he tenido desde que la vi y volví a ver y vi los documentales en YouTube y todos los videos, ver reviews y reacciones, es increíblemente vivido. Cómo se siente todo lo que les pasa, el sonido es increíble, el soundtrack insane, los actores, la historia. Sigo sin poder creer todo lo que pasaron y sobrevivieron por sus ganas. Dame unas semanas más y me la vuelvo a ver. Neta, viva J. Bayona.
¿Cómo qué? Ahora se van a dejar morir. Después de todo lo que pasó. ¿Lo ves? Hay que intentarlo.
20 Days in Mariupol. Available only on VOD or on filming in Spain. Now, this is a documentary. It really lets you in on the horrors of the war. The way that everyone outside is just clueless, and how the attacking force just tries to minimize every single thing they do to go on and fight, and they still do. The way the director just integrates themselves in the area and lets us see through his camera what he's trying to take out from there, and how now it's just on repeat there and anywhere.
My brain will desperately want to forget all this, but the camera will not let it happen.
On a lighter note, the GBBO universe, the festive specials, the Great Christmas Bake Off, the Great New Year's Bake Off 2023-2024, and the Festive Throwdown. Available on Netflix in the US and Channel 4 in the UK. The Throwdown may appear in Max in the US, but I won't know until late February because we still have HBO Max and it's a different thing. There's also Movistar Plus in Spain, and just go check where you want to watch it and just watch. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. Really not much to say, but just the joy that this show's bringing me. Also, bringing back people to either improve or just bomb greatly again is great. And I love that I know everyone because I love them on Instagram. And having celebs who know nothing about pottery or how to make it, just really enjoy or abhor what they make, and having that judge cry about it. It's just peak healing. Treat yourself to a nice cup of tea, some biscuits, and maybe some knitting while you watch it and enjoy.
Honestly, Joe, I'm being serious now. I've never seen anyone take to it like you just did.
Oh, thank you so
really
much.
got a talent for it.
The thing is, I don't get very many things, but this is one thing that I really got. So I just felt it.
You've just made the most incredible things, and all of those rims match. You can see that you've gone through the same process every time.
I'm really loath to throw any of those in.
I'm with you completely.
Golden Globe Awards 2024, available on HBO Max and Paramount Plus. First of all, that's a horrible host, but we all know that. Second, I think they really nailed most of the winners. I did want other people to win in some cases, but sometimes you just know who will win and who won't, and that's pretty much what they did. Alive, available in Paramount Plus, Binge, Disney Plus, and Movistar Plus. I watched this one right after the Golden Globes because I was in TikTok for most of it and got a lot of Society of Snow videos in my For You page and just wanted to compare this two. And they do have a lot of similarities in the stories, obviously, but it just felt like a melodramatic interpretation of the facts, unlike Society of the Snow. I do appreciate watching young Ethan Hawke as Nando Parrado.
We were about to get by a grand experience.
Echo, available on Disney Plus and Hulu in the US. I really like the miniseries as a whole. The story about learning from the ancestors and how to take on your own power. I don't know how to make it sound better than this, but maybe you catch me, Triv. Most of the actors went above and beyond to make themselves stand out. Really, most of them were fairly good characters. Others, not so much. like the main villains. Well, not the main villain, like the side villains. Anyway, the main story, it felt it was way too fast-paced. Everything happened so quickly, and at the end, everything worked out. When it's an anti-hero as Echo is supposed to be, I feel it needs to go a little bad for them for everything else to go okay. As a first project in the Marvel Spotlight arena, I think it was way better than I expected, as much as I hoped. Just disappointed it was dropped to die in a way that Secret Invasion should have been. Personally, I didn't think much of it because I'm one of the people who's going to catch up with everything all the time, but I guess the general audience will barely even register on this, if at all. Sadly. Hopefully they'll think twice on doing this the next time. Breakpoint Season 2 Part 1 available on Netflix. Dude, I love this series Netflix is making to get everyone up to date on the 411 about all the sports worlds and all of them. Season 1 was so good. I watched that one right after Part 2 came out and got to watch all of it before Wimbledon while I was actually in London and got to catch up on it. So I did watch that and got excited for this one. And I gotta say, I was a little disappointed with it. It didn't feel like it was telling me a cohesive linear story like the last one after the first episode, but I'll keep my mind open for when the second part comes out.
But it ain't happening.
I want to be the best till we kill it.
This is where stars are born, where dreams are realized, where you're playing for tennis immortality.
Mean Girls 2024, the musical. It's in theaters still, so I gotta say, this one wins my soundtrack for the month award. The movie is pretty basically what you would expect from a movie musical, if that's what you were expecting, and we know a lot of people weren't. I liked it way more than I expected. It was pretty funny and reactionary with all the people in the cinema. I did see a difference in the characters more than the story, in that Janice is less scary and mean. Or is just hourly not pulling off looking mean with her angel face, and maybe just not emo looking enough. Regina was more ethereal, like they said, just separate from the story, like it was just happening to her and not part of it until she is. Mostly what kept me invested was that I actually liked most of the music that I hadn't heard apart from the iconic phrases, and that I love women more than I realized before.
Katie pushed her.
Regina really should be lifting through her glutes.
Look at this thing. I can't even see it. Like a face breath.
Traitors UK Season 2 available on BBC iPlayer. I went in to watch it, but ended up not having the time at the moment, and I haven't picked it up since, so it's gone. The Trust, A Game of Trust, available on Netflix. A reality TV show with peeps that don't know how to be in reality TV, and it shows. I've only seen the first episodes, and I do like an all-women's alliance. But as it always happens, it feels like it's imploding already. I like the nice people who act all nice about being morally correct, and the ones that are doing that too, but just so that it means they won't be eliminated. What I don't like is when someone decides to put themselves in a leadership position and the man morality plays for everyone. I feel like it is very prevalent in here. I feel like it's very prevalent in here, and I got quite bored after that bit. But I'm just describing these people again. I think I'm gonna go ahead and finish it.
Can't hardly look at you.
You're a scumbag, I'm just gonna say
Do
it.
not let this man play you.
You guys, that's mean though.
You just destroyed the two closest friends you had in this house. It's all come down to this.
The temptation's pretty hard, but my integrity is not for sale.
The Traitors US Season 2, available on Peacock US, Paramount Plus in Australia, Crave in Canada. It's the best reality TV show on right now. The cast on this is just stacked. The gaming is gaming, and I'm just really excited for every episode coming out. I believe we're in the middle of the game right now, and it's getting interesting. Like, how are the Traitors going to get to the end? Are the alliances going to work out? And I love the outside drama and the interviews and the podcasts. I've got a lot to say about it, but it's all just spoilers, and I just want to see how everything turns out.
Hold on to your kilts, dearies. The games are just beginning.
Too much?
The Critics' Choice Awards available on HBO Max, the CW, and Hulu Plus Live TV. I started watching it late after my cousin's postboda, so I had to catch up later on the monologue and the host, and you can totally see the fallout from the Golden Globes getting to this show. And from what I did watch live, I appreciated some of the choice, and there's others that you just expect to be always there, so it gets to be a little boring. So it's not as memorable as the Golden Globes, but for a good reason.
And the winner is Oppenheimer.
So much. I've been asked to speak for the Oppenheimers.
The Hunt 2020 available in Binge, Peacock, and Netflix. I had wanted to watch this one since way before it came out. It had a lot of release changes and it finally came out in March 2020, so I had to wait for it to be in streaming and totally forgot it existed until I caught it scrolling through Peacock after the Traitors. I watched it, scratched it off my list, and it was way better than I expected. I love having low expectations because that means I always end up happy either way. I love the final fight, and just the ending was great. It was a great Warner and just really satisfying. It was a good, not great film, but it was entertaining the whole way through.
What kind of sick people would even think of something like that?
White people. We're the worst.
Mean Girls 2004, available on YouTube for free, Netflix, Paramount Plus, and Channel 4. Now, the OG of the OGs. Watched it because I had to remind myself why it was so good, and also because I watched a video essay about how it's adapted from a self-help mom and daughter book. This movie feels like when you're young and enjoy flipping through channels and finding a gem. Just the laughs that this thing pulled from me, and the arc that it goes on with the MC, Katie Heron. I just kept comparing this to the new one, and it's just so different. The vibe, the comedy, the lesson, and just quality-wise, superior.
I'm sorry that people are so jealous of me, but I can help it that I'm popular.
Walk it off! Walk it off!
High School Musical, the musical, the series, season 4, available on Disney+. Well, now, I wanted to finish the series for so long, and even though I miss Miss Rodrigo, I gotta say they nailed the last season. It felt final enough and like a good point in how they have grown together and how the show has grown since it came out and when Disney Plus started. I am keeping up with all of the actors and waiting for anything that they come out with because they were so amazing.
No. There is nothing in this world like high school. And I promise you, you will never meet another family like the Wildcats.
Frozen, available on Disney+. I watched it after I fell into the TikTok rabbit hole of Love is an Open Door and the Sandwiches line. And I didn't catch little things like that the first 1,000 times I watched it and all the little details. And that I can now see the growth in animation from the first to the second one, the strength of some of the songs and the lack of closure with the main villain. That's just a Disney classic.
Hang in there, guys! Whoa! I can't feel my legs! I can't feel my legs! Those are my legs. Oh, hey, do me a favor, grab my butt. Oh, that feels...
What a Girl Wants, available on Netflix. I sometimes get a craving for chick flicks or just rom-coms, and I use the recommended tab a lot, especially on Netflix after the first one, and I got a craving for this movie. So mostly what I gotta say is just like it's a terrible sound mixing. I love Colin Firth in this so much. The romantic partner for Amanda Bynes was nice, but dude, he's the first guy you met in a foreign country that was nice to you. I like when the main character has morals and helps other people, but it felt kind of mean this time. Weird, not mean, weird. Still, I love the ending with Colin Firth getting back with the mom. That was super cute.
I was little. Every birthday, I wish that if I was good enough, you'd come find me.
And found herself. What a girl wants.
Favorite band of the 70s? Please don't say the Bee Gees. Please don't say the Bee Gees.
Ghost of Girlfriend's Past available on Netflix and HBO Max. So, Krista Allen being forever young Jen Gardner is the best. And also young Matthew McConaughey having no accent and main Matthew McConaughey having all the accent. It's just peak Matthew McConaughey rom-com.
Matthew McConaughey, Jennifer Garner, and Michael Douglas.
I can't believe it. You kept it.
Ghosts of Girlfriends Past.
Just Like Heaven available on Netflix, Max, and Paramount Plus. I had wanted to watch this film for a while, and while I was on a roll, I did. The whole plot is so magical realism in a rom-com classic that I just loved it, especially Mark Ruffalo. Also, being a grump who falls in love with a ghost, that's just delicious.
Reese Witherspoon, Mark Ruffalo, and Napoleon Dynamite's John Heater. Just Like Heaven.
Is there a doctor here? Excuse me, pardon me, what's wrong with him?
It's attention pneumothorax.
I think it's attention pneumothorax.
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 Never mind.
The Accidental Husband available on Tubi, Netflix, CTV, Pluto TV, and Peacock. I didn't know that this movie existed, and I got a Colin Firth surprise while checking this in the suggested tab, and boom, I'm watching it. Sometimes I like a lot of angst in my rom-coms, but I was in such a high from all the previous ones that I really just enjoyed that everything works out and no one's sad at the end, and how everyone is so nice and understanding. It's just pure joy.
Uma Thurman, Colin Firth, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
New York City Fire Department, ladies and gentlemen, official business. Please exit yellow van. We're gonna have to ask you to stop. What are you doing immediately?
The Accidental Husband.
Stop it. Stop it now, please.
When We First Met, available on Netflix. I had previously watched it when it came out, and I appreciated the time travel fix-it, as I do in all of its iterations. But just realizing that everything you do is for a reason, and just being happy for other people's successes and how they help you out too is nice. I mean, I totally understand it. I would do anything in my power to be with Alexander Daddario too.
Oh my gosh, that's the stuff! I got a bomb! It's got a bomb! I got a bomb! It's fine. I'm sorry about that ruined your magic. You didn't have a great life.
Argo, available on Prime and HBO Max. The first time that I watched this in a movie theater, I fell asleep, and since then, it has become one of my favorite films to watch when I need a little rest from everything, with one other that I'm probably gonna watch in a while. I love that every time I watch it, I find something or other that I didn't catch the last time. Mostly because I hadn't put attention on the first 600 times I watched it. Or there's an actor that I didn't know then that I know now. And how just you change how you see the whole movie.
You really believe your little story is going to make a difference when there's a gun to our heads?
I think my little story is the only thing between you and a gun to your head.
The Talented Mr. Ripley, available on Binge and Netflix. This was so worth it. Watching it for the first time after the whole Saltburn debacle, and it is literally Saltburn, but better and creepier. And now there's going to be an Andrew Scott version. I'm going wild. Like, Gwyneth Paltrow was so good in this. I forgot that she could actually act, and she just rocks this one. I mean, just a whole cast of amazing young actors that are in this, and now they're legends, is insane.
I always thought it'd be better to be a fake somebody than a real nobody.
Love Has Won, The Cult of Mother God, available on Max, Binge, and HBO Max. It's a crazy docuseries. Like, you've got your religious cult where someone believes they're God or a higher being, controlled by drugs, a scary dude trying to control everyone and the cold people really drinking the Kool-Aid. And you know, just a mummified corpse in the first scene. Yeah. Classic.
She drank a lot of political silver.
It turns you blue. It's like, what does it? I am God.
Sometimes creation looks a little messy.
American Nightmare, available on Netflix. I watched this after Philip DeFranco recommended you would love it if you wanted to hate life and be so mad at the US justice system. And I have to concur. I love the format. It just makes you madder and madder, and if you don't know the story, I would go in blind. Just to be thrown off by the way they tell it and end really angry.
Who's really behind all of this? And they get an email confessing to the crime. Did we all get this wrong?
Behind Bluey podcast, available on ABC Listen. I found out it existed after one of the Bluey video essays, or a theory one, I don't remember. It's like an Aussie blur. I haven't caught up with all the episodes, but it's just amazing how much they put into this little gem of a show. From the inception of the idea for an episode to the last little detail. I'm just not really good at catching up with podcasts in general if they're not visual. So I'll definitely try because I need to know everything about the show. The Bear Season 1 and Season 2, available on Hulu, Disney Plus, and Star Plus. Okay, now I get it. I've been watching these award shows, just giving them all the awards, and decided to finally go for it. And yeah, I get it, okay? It's so good. I just started and couldn't stop until I finished it. The first season feels like it's going nowhere. And when you get to the end, you find everything bumping with everything and going off. And then in season 2 is where you get the real story that they're trying to tell. And thankfully, it's not as anxiety-inducing until it fully is. And it feels like the highest highs and the lowest lows. And I just can't fucking wait for the next one.
This shit looks different.
What do you think?
It's redundant and white, just like you.
Once Upon a Time, available on Disney Plus and Hulu. I fully watched the whole series when it started, right after Desperate Housewives ended, until it ended with that weird season 7, and I just wanted to revisit the whole thing, and I did. I started rewatching in 2022, made it to the beginning of this rewatch with season 3, and spoilers, with Evil Peter Pan, Wicked, Frozen, Heroes versus Villains, with the weird author, just starting the Dark Swan and Arthurian Legends. Most of the characters regress in between seasons and even some episodes, but it is such an amazing concept, and I'm a sucker for changing already famous characters. Not in the way that they wouldn't do that because we know them already way, but just the whole reimagining and the new storylines. And they really rocked it with dividing the seasons into themes because they're so long.
A new chapter begins as the bravest of warriors joins King Arthur's knights as the battle of good versus evil continues.
I will not lose my daughter to darkness.
Saturday Night Live with Jacob Elordi and Renee Rapp, available on Peacock. It's a cute little episode. Not a lot of memorable skits, or even mostly funny ones. I mean, I think Elordi did well, but the skits weren't that funny or memorable. And that was redundant. I only remember Renee Rapp's performances and Rachel McAdams being there and acting way too good in a random skit. Still, I was entertained. And I got to see Megan Thee Stallion and Renee Rapp being hot as always. So, good for me. A win is a win.
Oh, no.
Come on, you almost there. That's an approach.
I got this. You got it, buddy.
Let's go, Jay.
It's all you, baby.
Let's go, Jay.
Oh!
Gran Turismo, available on HBO Max, Prime, Crave, and Netflix. I like the little biopics that seem ridiculous but are somewhat true. And I had seen the trailer for this film for so long in front of every movie I went to see for 6 months. And when it came out, I couldn't even go watch it. So I saw it scrolling somewhere and I don't know where. And I found it on HBO Max and I like it. I did the obligatory Wikipedia search of everything and everyone involved and then moved on.
You've got to prove to everyone that we belong.
You've raced it, like 1,000 times. Now you just got to do it in real life.
Gran Turismo.
The Devil Wears Prada, available on Disney+, Netflix, Star Plus, and Max. And now this one, I literally watched a TikTok about the song they use at the beginning of the movie and I got the bug. I had to watch it. I actually hadn't watched it in a really long time, fully, just bits and pieces. And to the charge of the boyfriend being the bad guy in the movie, it's bull. He's justifiably angry at some things and not so at others. Like any other person that wants their significant other or someone else to not be so fucking stressed over their work-life balance or non-existence of it. And I get that Andy had to do a lot of that or lose her job, but that's not a thing to aspire to do or be. Like, really, why are you doing all that for a recommendation before the crisis? You already got the job that everyone wanted and nobody got. Why do you think that this is gonna do anything better for you? Like, make it make sense. I don't know.
Doesn't. You want this life? The decision's yours.
The Devil Wears Prada.
Anatomy of a Fall, available on VOD and some cinemas around the world. I mean, I had to watch this, right? Oscar nominated for almost everything, and after watching it, absolutely deserved it. It's such a crazy good acted drama about death and how it affects everyone around it. How the context of the life of death really skews it. And just a great courtroom drama that gives you all the feelings. And just a freaking tease. Like, my little true crime loving self needs answers. I need it.
I'm innocent, you know that, right?
Disney 100 Celebration Special 2020 edition. Available on Disney+. One of the first things that I learned to love with Disney Plus is all the self-loving that they do. And I really appreciate it when they give a new perspective to new things I didn't know about before. But since I've seen a heck of a lot of those versions, this one just seems to recap all that with a special 100 pasted into it, and not even the best bits. It did give me a craving of watching something in it, like...
The 100th Century of Dreams airs on a special edition of 2020 tonight at 9 p.m.
Mary Poppins, available on Disney Plus and BBC iPlayer. One of the best movies of all time, if I do say so myself. Normally I do a double feature with Saving Mr. Banks, mostly before this one, so that it hits different. But as I saw that recently without watching this one, I just saw it as a continuation months apart. And as I said before multiple times, every time I watch it, I take something new in it. But the songs are forever. I Will Live and Die for Feed the Birds and Let's Go Fly a Kite, but I had a little obsession with Chim Chim Cheree and Step in Time. They always put me in. You know, I think I actually danced to that one in ballet like 15 years ago. Weird. Anyways, if you haven't seen this movie, I would recommend it. And if you want to make it a double feature, just wait to double the tears.
Never dreamed of.
La Sociedad de La Nieve, Quienes Fuimos en la Montaña, available on YouTube and Netflix. It's a little documentary about how they made the movie, and it was full on freaking out hearing it was mostly filmed in La Sierra Nevada in the dates that I was there. But I realized it was a full year before, and just, oh well, what are you gonna do? I am a sucker on how they made everything work out with the casting, the diets, the filming, everything. And just how they pulled it off is amazing. I would have taken a full 2 hours, but they kept it short at 30 minutes and a bit. So you can have a double feature of this one and Amuse Yourself on The Witcher. Royal Rumble 2024 available on Peacock and WWE Network, maybe, if it's still working. I mean, I only wanted to watch the women's and men's Royal Rumble, and I ended up catching almost the whole show. I love the women's more than the men's as always, but I was more disappointed in the women's because I fully deluded myself into thinking that Sasha Banks and AJ Lee would come back for it, but no. We had the same second place finish for the second time in a row and unexpected winner for both Rumbles. I did enjoy it more than I expected, but just cringed a little more for the botch moves in both the Rumble. Right now they're dealing with a lot of shit, but I'm sure WWE will just prevail, as it always does. And I hope something good comes out on taking out the trash.
Road to WrestleMania! What you gonna do when a Royal Rumble runs wild on you?
Law & Order Special Victims Unit Season 1 on Peacock. Now, I fully watch a video essay about every single moment where Olivia and Elliot have a moment, or just are growing as characters. That was 7 hours long. Had I watched the show before, a part of some episodes I catch when I was younger and watched TV? No. But I fully expect myself to watch all 24 seasons and also the organized crime one? Yes. I did the same for a crossover episode from Sleepy Hollow and Bones, catching up on all 12 seasons before I watched a crossover one in the show that I was actually watching, and it ended up being one of my comfort shows I've watched at least 7 times over. So what's some terribly scarring TV for the greatest slow burn in TV history? Mother, available generally VOD. So this fucking movie, it's so full on with this allegory and its visuals and the feeling that this shit punches into you. I've never wanted to slap Michelle Pfeiffer so hard in her stupid, beautiful face. And just the whole fucking thing is so annoying, and I get it. I get it. But like, just chill for a second. Let me fucking breathe. The whole third act is just bonkers. And I love it, but I will not be rewatching anytime soon. Maybe if I find some video essay, I will indulge. But I just want that experience out of my body. And not to think of all that pain and aggression this bullshit made me feel. Fuck you, Darren Aronofsky.
You're saying.
I'm trying to do something love in this house. Open it up to new people, new ideas. I'm so sorry.
Get out of my house!
You give it again. It's never enough.
The Greatest Night in Pop, available on Netflix. I think it was recently bought from Sundance or some festival or other. I don't know. I just adore documentaries that make me feel all the feels. The ones that have the one night to do it all. All the things that they had to do to get there and how everyone reacted and behaved. It's so beautiful. I sure did watch the music video after and the 2010 version and the one in Spanish twice. Yes. I remember it all and all the little riffs. Also, the 2020 version of some other songs with the same vibe, but not in a Imagine 2020 kind of vibe. Yeah.
People didn't know what we were going to be doing. There's really no excuse. There's a full-on fight going on. What am I supposed to say? The clock is ticking, and we had so many disasters coming.
Man, are you kidding?
Prisoners, available on Netflix, Crave, Prime, and HBO Max. This is just a clusterfuck of everything. The tension you feel, the acting, the strength of the cast, it's insane. Hugh Jackman went so far in this, I believed everything he said. And I just really fucking hated him. Even if he was doing it for his child, I just couldn't stand it at the end. And, at the end. You big tease.
I know you know where they are.
Where's my daughter?
Interstellar, available on HBO Max, Netflix, and Prime. I do only 3 things, it seems. I knit, I media munch, and TikTok. And yes, I saw a TikTok with the score and got a craving. So I watched it, second time ever, and it's probably one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen. It's all about the cinematography and score. It would be one of those concept videos. this movie was made for making reels of it. With that amazing sound, and we all know I'm not talking about dialogue because you can barely hear it ever on a Chris Nolan movie. The story in this could be crap for all I care, and I would still cry over everything else.
I'm coming back.
Soul Surfer, available on Netflix and Prime. I must have watched something to remember this movie and how obsessed I was when it came out, for Peter Pan reasons. And now I gotta say it's a pretty weak biopic, but it will forever live in my self-conscious. Another thing I hadn't realized before, there's mega country star Carrie Underwood giving me the biggest jump scare of my life. Like, what are you doing here?
From a loss, when you beat the odds and never say never, you find a champion.
Deepwater Horizon, available on Netflix, Paramount Plus, and Prime. This one is pure act, no soul, no aftermath, just is. Not even in an emotional way, or repercussions, or lack thereof. Just, this happened, some people died, RIP, and that's it. I remember the trailers before it came out and expected way more and just got disappointed.
Someone at your door.
Are you seeing this?
Mike, what is that? Is everything okay?
We gotta go right now!
A Hero's Journey, the making of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, available on Disney+. I love the making ofs they do now for everything Marvel, and now this. Yes. It's a little baby documentary about the series and how the production started and how it ended. Just what I needed the whole experience to end on.
I'm so ready. She was nervous, but committed.
This has been quite an adventure, just in the making of Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Back to 15, available on Netflix. I started watching the second season but forgot how season 1 ended, and it's a pretty short one, so I did a full rewatch and season 2 that I hadn't caught up to, and it's such a good show. I mean, time travel fixed it is my shit, and I live for everything telenovela-esque, so this show is perfect for me. And also they've announced season 3, so I'm stoked. I love that they do all the pairings and exploit all the possibilities. I hope the next version is double the fun.
Você não vai encontrar a resposta pra saber o que você tá sentindo fugindo.
Tá madura pra 15 anos, né?
É porque eu tenho 30 na verdade.
Você sabe que pode sempre contar comigo.
Eu sei, meu parceiro viajante no tempo.
Nascar Full Speed, available on Netflix. As I've said before, I love the little docuseries teaching me all the sports. And I've got a new one with cars. It fully functions as reality TV, with legendary rivalries and the final competition worth it all. I loved a bunch of personalities, the Nepo babies, and the tie into the other sports legends. Yes, you go race for that weird company while your racers from your own company race against you. Totally not complicated. I feel like a totally new woman. I think I'll finally go watch the Formula 1 shows. Like, watch me be obsessed with finally knowing why some celebrities are famous and not just because they're pretty.
Hello. He still plays Mario Kart.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's how I get ready.
Yeah.
This is Super Mario. I'm tired of it.
Oh, wow. The playoffs are nuts. Trying to keep him safe.
In the playoffs, anything can happen.
Let's all watch and see. Your season's done. If you find another game.
Fear Street, Part 1, 1994, Part 2, 1978, Part 3, 1666, available on Netflix. I've been wanting to rewatch these movies for a while, and I got a push for my YouTube video I watched, so I did. And I love the full arc of the whole trilogy, and not as much individually, though they're still good on their own, especially 1978. I remember watching when they came out and just salivating for the next ones, and when it was going to come out, and seeing nothing about it got a little sad. But now I can just appreciate it for what they are and not expect more.
Your best chance is to run from this place. And Shady said, we're all cursed. The devil is in me.
You such a fight these things? Try not to die.
Free Solo, available on Disney Plus and Hulu. it's one of those rewatch days. I just wanted something that made me feel something while doing something else. And also wanted to watch a good documentary. While I think I was editing this, ended up just watching it because every single second counts. And it's so interesting and dangerous and exciting and anxiety inducing. It's just a climb. Yeah. That I watched in January 2024. I'm constantly updating my letterbox and my Notion, so if you want to check it out, I'm gonna do another video for February. I've just started making the whole thing because it takes a lot of fucking time to do this. I'm just trying to be more comfortable on camera, speak like I normally do when there's actual people in there. Let's see how I do with the voiceover. If you're watching this at all, thanks for going through this whole horrible thing. See ya. Adios. Bye-bye.